Hatchlings, it's DragonFeather, and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of the YouTube Pagan Challenge, the question is, how do you feel about group work and worship? And I honestly prefer it, and I'm going to tell you guys why, because whenever I work in a group with other people who have the same mindset and who are trying to achieve the same goal, it just exponentially feels more powerful, always. Like, sure, sometimes when you're working with, like, a group of people who maybe aren't all in sync together, like, you're not working for the same thing, or you guys have blockages or something like that, then yeah, it can be kind of awkward. And especially, like, your first time, when you, like, first practice with other people, it can be awkward. I know it was awkward for me my first time, but nowadays, like, I prefer raising energy with other people. Like, I prefer, like, being in a group of at least 20 or more people is, like, a power note. Like, I feel like is a powerful group of people when you have that many people. And to, like, be focusing on the same intention, focusing on raising the vibrations of the earth, on focusing on, like, love and light and just manifesting things that are good in the world. Like, I really love those experiences because it's so empowering to feel like you're with a group of individuals that, like, agrees with you, or that, like, you know, works well with you, or that wants the same thing as you, and, like, I just kind of feel like it's more effective too, especially when everybody's, like, in tune, doing what they're supposed to do. Like, in my coven, whenever we have rituals together, like, when we're all focused on, like, the spell that we're doing together, or when we're all focused on, like, raising the energy or casting the circle, like, it's just so much more powerful, especially when we, like, call upon different energies. Like, when we work as a group, like, it's just more powerful. In my experience anyway. Not saying that, like, you can't be powerful, like, with, like, just on your own, because, like, I've had, like, some of my most powerful rituals by myself, if that makes sense. But I know that it is so very essential to be able to work with others, like, especially in, like, witchcraft, and, like, my personal opinion, because, like, when you work as a group, when you work in not necessarily a coven, but, like, when you work with, like, other witches who are, like, focused on the same goal and who are doing whatever they can to raise the vibration, like, it's like another body, it's like another source of energy, another source of light, and it, like, just amplifies it, basically. And I prefer doing the Sabbath rituals in groups, actually. Like, I don't really celebrate my Sabbath rituals by myself anymore, and I prefer it that way. Like, I like performing rituals, like the celebrational holidays, with my coven. Like, I liked celebrating it with a bunch of different people, but, like, my espits, like my moon rituals and my full moon rituals, like, I prefer to do that by myself, because I feel like that's more of, like, a divination, more of, like, a getting in touch with your personal spellcraft, or, like, your personal side, or, like, doing shadow work. I feel like it's something you should do by yourself, but sometimes it can be effective done in group work as well. So it really kind of depends on the person, and honestly it depends on what your preference is, because if you want to practice something that not a lot of people really know or don't really support, like, I know that Christian Wicca gets a lot of shit in the pagan community and in the Christian community. Like, I feel like it might be harder to find, like, a group of people who want to practice Christian Wicca together, but in my experience, like, whenever I've just worked with any type of group of witches, like, they can be eclectic, they can be, you know, whatever, really, and just working together towards the same goal, like, all putting in our energy at one, like, all putting our energy together at the same time is just really powerful. And I do feel like it's not how it should be done all the time. I feel like solitary practice is very important, and certain group work that I've done has been very insufficient and very not so awesome, like, more so awkward than anything. Like, especially rituals that I've, like, held by myself. Like, when I first started, I was like, oh, how am I supposed to do this? And then I got, like, in my head, and then I was a little bit detached from the ritual. But, like, as time goes on, like, you just kind of gotta learn how to focus when you're in the circle, and kind of, like, drop those thoughts that, like, don't matter, you know what I mean? Like, drop the thoughts that, you know, hold you back, that are lies, basically, that are negative, that, you know, make you stressed out or anxious or depressed or whatever, and you really gotta, like, let the earth absorb that from you, and, like, fill yourself with just light and just love, and then just focus on whatever you're trying to do, or the task at hand, like, whatever it is. Another thing that's really fun with group is dancing around a maypole. Like, I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever done that, but, like, in group work and like worship, when you dance around a maypole with a bunch of people, it's really fun. It's kind of awkward sometimes when you get to like the center, you know, and you're like bumping into everybody, but when you're like dancing around the maypole with a bunch of people, it just feels very like festive. Like, I'm a very big fan of like the festive pagan holidays, like Samhain, like favorite pagan holiday, and I just want to go celebrate it with everybody, basically. Like, I want to go howl at the moon with a bunch of freaking weirdos, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do crazy stuff with a bunch of people on those, you know, bigger holidays. Like, on the Sabbats, like I said, like, for any sort of Sabbat, like, be it Beltane, Imbolc, Ostara, Mabon, Samhain, Yule, whatever it is, like, it's just, I feel like, more powerful in my experience when I've, like, had a ritual with other people. Be it with just one other person, or with my coven, kind of thing. Like, just like being with all those people for like the same reason, celebrating, you know, whatever Sabbath it may be, is just fun. And it's like it just kind of reminds me of like who I am sometimes, like when I'm around like other people who, you know, make me feel authentic and stuff. But for the most part, I've had positive experiences working with, you know, other people, working in group, working in coven, working magic and stuff like that with others, because like I don't know, I just feel like ever since I found my coven, like they've really just kind of given me that education and like shown me a little bit more formally how rituals are done, and like my magic improved, and like my perspective changed in a positive way, and it was just kind of very good, like, lesson learning experience. It was just very enriching, if that makes sense. It was very educational, and I feel like for the newer witch, if you can find a coven that's like in the flesh around where you live, don't be afraid to go try it out, because it could really, you know, be a positive effect on you. I'm sure it's easier to find covens in certain places than others, but like out where I live, like, it's so much fun to like celebrate those big, meaningful, festive days with people who want to do the same. And like, you know, not ignoring the solitary practice, not saying that you can't do something yourself or you shouldn't do something by yourself, because I feel like sometimes practicing solitary is the best way to develop your character and the best way to develop, your craft and your magic and all of that, because it gives you a personal touch with yourself, rather than feeding off the energy of others, if that makes sense. Because when you're in a group and you're doing group work, you kind of like exchange energy with everyone, and so instead of it just being your light, just being your magic and your energy, it's like kind of mixed in a rainbow cauldron of everyone else's, if that makes sense. But when you're by yourself, it's very much just you and just saturated with you, and I feel like that's just as important to focus on, if not more important. Excuse my obnoxious toilet. But yeah, it's basically just, it's good to branch out and try new things with new people, because you never know what kind of friends you'll make, and you'll never know what kind of experiences you'll have if you don't try. So that's kind of all I had to say on that topic. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and tell me why. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and let me know, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky little hatchlings. Blessed be and peace. Hey hatchlings, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment telling me why, and subscribe to see what I'll post next. If you love my content, please become a sponsor over at Patreon. It helps keep the channel going so I can post awesome videos for you guys. All the links will be down below. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky little hatchlings. Blessed be and peace!